If you recall, last time we worked on this old bucket of bolts, we had a major catastrophe. Yes, sir. The China-made parts that I bought for the rear suspension broke. One of the rod ends is laying right over there. I got to weld it up, put it back on, get this good enough to move off this rack so we can get Dude in here and go to working on him. So let us get busy. Just in case you forgot, this is what broke. Very important part to the rear suspension, upper bar. I have beveled it, so we can get a good weld on it. I'm just gonna weld it back together. I don't care how straight it is because we're not using that. I'll show y'all when the parts get here what we're using. I just need to get this back on the car so I can get it out of the way. We've got to modify our cross member for the coilovers. And I gotta run to O'Reilly's, order some gaskets for the chunk. Gotta get it in. So I get the axles in so we can just push it out of the way. Yep. This is going to be very confusing because I got to work on this a little bit to get it out of the way. So I get Dude in here, work on him for a week or two, and then bring that back in and finish this video up. Anyway, y'all bear with me. We'll get it all figured out. Let me get this welded up, get it back on the car. All right, y'all tell me when that's straight. Looks good to me. Got all 4 bars in, rear end is located, and I got it ran all the way up, into our C-notch. Well, we're going 1 3/4 higher now. Well, that presents a new problem. This bar over here is hitting the floorboard. Oh yeah, we'll have to address that whenever we do the floorboard, but right now I'm just trying to get her, out of here. But I've told y'all before, when you modify one thing, you gotta modify 10 more. That's just how it goes. Anyway, now that I got the rear end all the way up in its full travel, let's get the cross member up there and see what we got to do to it. Going down. Cross member is in place. Rear end is all the way up, and you see the gap we got. We can take 1 3/4 away. That'll help our floorboard out quite a bit. I'll just cut it off here and here, 1 3/4, put a new top plate on it. Then I'll show you what we're gonna do about our, what do you call them? Coilover top mounts. Let us cut it off. All right, I got all that welded up. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever built. This up here is kind of crooked, and it was about a 1/2 inch short. So, well, I fudged it. It's going to work. It'll be all right. What we're doing now is I got to drill a hole here for my upper coilover mount. And if you just drill a hole and stick a bolt in there and tighten it up, it'll squish this tubing, and the bolt, you can never get the bolt tight, is basically what the problem is. So what you do is you get a little spacer like this, drill a hole, put that spacer down in there, weld it up on either end, grind it smooth, and that there will keep you from crushing that tube. I found these at Lowe's. They're exactly what I need, right length and ID. Oh yeah. So let me drill these holes out, get these down in there, get them welded up. I don't have a 7/8 drill bit. That's what the final diameter's got to be. So the old Christmas tree bit's gonna have to do. Well, my Christmas tree bits, they're probably made in China. They'll go to a certain point and just quit cutting, every single one of them. And All I got's a 3/4, it needs to be 7/8. Well, the drill press won't run this. My cordless drill won't run this, so I had to get the wrist breaker 6000 out, drill these out. Apparently, it's not going to tighten up enough. I think today's Monday. Yep. There's one. Let me drill that out, and then I'm going to take a die grinder, grind it out the rest of the way for 7/8. It ain't got to be perfect because it's going to be welded up. Holes are drilled, and I ground, I don't know, maybe 1/8 inch off these spacers, because after I weld this, I'm going to grind both sides down smooth. And if you do that, you're liable to grind all the weld away. Well, if you got a little clearance, well, some of your weld will stay. That's why I shortened them like I did. So let me get them welded in. I reckon it'll be time to put it in the car. Got a little bit of weld on the ID of the hole. So let me take this die grinder and clean it up. Clean it up, man, clean it up! Will the bolt fit? Not yet. That'll work. Wait a minute. I completely forgot about this right here. This mount for the top of the coilover. This is what's called double shear. Well, let me find a bolt. I ain't got a bolt. Let's pretend this punch is a bolt on this end right here. Stick it in there. Shock will be mounted here, and you'll have a nut out here. Well, it's got leverage, that shock does, to do that right there to that bolt, trying to bend and break it. That's called single shear. This is called double shear. The load is on two sides. It can't try to twist and bend that bolt. And it's, you know, because the whole way to the back of the car is going to be right here and right here. The bottom, it's going to be single shear unless I figure out some kind of way to make it double shear. May end up doing that, but for now, this is going to have to do. Completely forgot about, you know, making that. Let me make one for over here. Then we can put this in the car. Cross member is done. It's tacked in right now, and I got the weight of the car on the shocks, cross member, everything. I just wanted to make sure what it's going to look like with weight on it, because my shocks are real close to my axle tube there. And, you know, it's going to, that axle is going to move backwards and forwards as it goes up, because, you know, it's in an arc. I just wanted to make sure they weren't going to rub during its travel. I think they'll be okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and weld this up. And we're gonna be done with this right here. Oh yeah. All right, let's get that little fella welded up. I gotta make a weld underneath here. We jack it up, get under. Oh yeah, you've been too old for this. Woo! It looks pretty doggone good, if I must say so myself. Oh yeah. The only thing I don't like is, you know, the center ain't centered, but y'all know why we had to do that. But yeah, I like the angle of my shocks. Ain't too bad. The weight of the vehicle is on my shocks now. Let's go around front and look at it from that side, and then we're gonna bounce something down on it and see how it does. Here is the front view. Look a whole lot better when I get my chunk in. A whole lot better when I get these old junky bars out of here too. I gotta paint my cross member. I ain't gonna worry about that right now. My main goal right now is to get this out of here so we can get that truck right over yonder in here, start working on it. I gotta go to O'Reilly's, get my gasket that I ordered last night, put it on, put the chunk in, put the axles in, a roller on out. Let me go do that. I'll be right back. Back from Ireland, got my gasket, and I completely forgot about this. Remember, I told y'all this axle was rubbing in our differential and leaving little shards of metal. Well, let me show you the stock one once again. It has been neck down from the factory, like right here down to here. It's been neck down. Easiest thing to do would be stick it in a lathe, but we're gonna try a grinder. I got it marked where I'm gonna do it from here to here. I was gonna hit it with a grinder real quick. It's not turned out very much. Anyway, let's see what I can do with the grinder. If it don't work, then, well, we may have to go stick it in a lathe. Let us grind. Oh yeah, the stock one is $290 and we got $280, $285, $295. I think we'll be all right. Let me clean it up. I'll stick it in the housing in the differential and see what it feels like. If it's all right, then I'll do the other one. We'll be good. Till the next day. I said fooey on it last night after I got done grinding them axles. There is no touching grinding anymore, so that's good. Got my gasket and RTV ready. Basically grab the chunk, we'll slide her in here, put the nuts on, tighten it up. Got to paint it. Once I get it up here, I got to paint this cross member. Put the axles in, wheels on. I might go ahead and put the brake stuff on. And then I'm not going to run brake lines right now. Then we can get this little fella out of here. Let's get busy. Come on. Oh yeah, this little fella's heavy. Ooh, it's heavy. I don't know if I can get that in there because it ain't high enough and it ain't low enough. I don't know. Let's see if we can get her in though. Oh yeah. Get in there, big fella. There we go. Get in there. Let me put a nut on it before it decides to come off. Let me get my hammer. Ta-da! All right. Let me get all these on. We'll get them tightened up. All right, I'll put a ratchet on them in a minute, make sure they're all tight. I gotta tighten these with a wrench. We got the chunk in though, I gotta paint it. But yes, sir, we are in. Let's get this here axle, this here differential. Oh, I gotta make a copy of my brackets because we're gonna do the same thing on Dude. Let me do that real quick. Copies are made. Let's get our caliper bracket on now. I've decided, you know, this is your usual retainer plate that would go there, back here. You know, my caliper bracket is acting as a retainer plate now. But you know, we milled it down, 1/8 inch I think it was. I'm gonna put this on there too, if the bolts are long enough. And just sort of as a backer plate to help strengthen that a little bit. I think it'll be all right. If my bolts are long enough, let me see. I think they will be. Yeah, they're probably all right. I forgot to get bolts, metric bolts. We'll put them in with the 7/16. They'll work for now, but don't y'all let me forget and leave them in there. I gotta go around back to get this in. Oh yeah! We're screwed. You might be asking yourself, why does he have the caliper on, but not the rotor? Well, let me show you why. Yes, sir. Caliper's gonna hit the frame and all up in here, and yeah. That thought never crossed my mind when I was doing this. Sure didn't. Looks like we're going to be running 4 9-inch drum brakes. Yep, wasted all this money. Sure did. Probably gonna run in the same thing on Dude. I'll have to do some studying. I done bought all this brake part stuff for Dude. I'll have to send it back, I guess. I tell you what, if it ain't one thing, it's something else around here. All the dead blade time. This was, you know, a day and a half of work making these brackets and getting all this fitting right. It's just shot. Sure is. Anyway, let me pull this off, put the rotor and wheel on, and do the same thing the other side and get this car out here. It's just working on my last nerve. It sure is. As I was pulling the caliper off, I realized this is emergency brake type, and it's got all this extra sticking out. A regular old GM, the metric non-emergency brake ones, they may fit. I'll have to do some study on that, and hopefully we can use a bracket. Probably not, but anyway, all hope is not lost for disc brakes on the 04T. Let me get the other side done, get this car out of here. Just for my reference, from the inside of the rotor to the frame, 3.5 inches will hit. Y'all remember that, don't let me forget. I'm gonna see now if we can get the wheel and tire on. You know, before I would drop the axle, the rear end all the way down. Well, this is as far as this will go, because you know my shocks are holding it now, so hopefully we get that tire in there. Oh yeah! Will it fit? All right, go on in there, girl. Don't give me a bunch of trouble. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to raise the whole car up though. Let me do that real quick, like. All right, car is raised up all the way my jack will go. Now will it fit? That is a tight fit, let me tell you. Ooh. I'm gonna have to take me a 4x4 on the road if I ever have a flat. Yep. All right, I get a finger in there now. Oh yeah, what about the inside? Get a finger there. Not quite a pinky. Remember our fingertip precision? Let me go do the other side real quick. We'll let it down, see what it looks like. Let me tell you, this here wheel and tire, yeah, didn't hardly want to fit. I ended up having to take the rotor off, put the tire in, and then sneak the rotor back in. Yeah, that's gonna be fun on the road. That's why I'm gonna carry me a 4x4, make dang sure I can lift this thing plumb off the ground. Anyway, I have painted the chunk. I've painted, well, part of them across. Remember, I gotta get up top and finish that. Put grease in the rear end. I do believe she's ready to let down. So, let me let the jack down, and we're gonna have to do some adjusting on them coilovers, I'm sure. But let's let it down and just see where it sits. Going down. Well, I think it's sitting lower. Let me get my tape measure out. There's 25 1/8 from the ground to the bottom of the fender over here. Let's see what we're sitting at. Yes, sir, we're approximately an inch lower. That's 24, and I think it was 25 1/8. So we are an inch lower. That means our drive shaft is going to hit worse, probably. So what we'll do, not today, but what we'll do, well, let me get under there and I'll just show you. Yes, sir, we're gonna hit probably a lot quicker with it sitting an inch lower. What we can do is, well, you just go to tightening up on these springs. That'll raise it up, you know, because we're in our top hole here now. Go to tightening them up, and it'll raise it up. If they don't do it, then we'll have to get a stiffer spring, probably a 225, maybe a 250. I don't know. We'll have to see. Also, my vent. Well, I got to take that out because this hitting the spring. Sure is. That ain't no good. Anyway, that's what we do. But I'm pretty pleased with everything except for these old junky bars. I done figured out what I'm gonna do there. I got the parts ordered. They're supposed to be here, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. We'll get to it eventually. But I think we got plenty of clearance for our tires. Then there's a little close, but I bought some 1/4 inch spacers. And there's probably the tightest one. I bought 1/4 inch spacers, you know, just in case we have to, because, well, y'all know I like my tires out as far as I can get them. We got plenty of room in here now, so most likely I'll run them 1/4 inch wheel spacers, but I ain't worried about none of that right now. This little feller has got to get out of here. I got to get working on that truck. Let me get it out of here. Y'all remember I had a big old piece of sheet metal sitting right here? Look here. It's a mouse highway. Look at all them little tracks, little fellers. This one here made a turn. He went yonder way somewhere. That's pretty wild. Just got her rolled outside and pushed over here in front of this bay here. But she's in a bind. Oh yeah, it's rubbing just a wee bit, I think, right here. But I mean, how often am I gonna have her twisted like that? I think it'll be just fine and dandly. We'll see this in a week or so. Well, it's been a week or so since we've worked on the old Forte. We've been busy on dude out there giving him a Mustang 2 front end, waiting on parts. So I figured, well, we better not sit around and twiddle our thumbs. We better get busy working on this old car here. So what we're gonna do firstly, well, let me show you my drive shaft. I attempted to put a conversion U-joint in. Well, you know, this is 1310, and the old Ford 9-inch is an oddball. It's called a 1330 big cap. Well, I had a conversion U-joint. I was trying to put it in there last night. It didn't want to cooperate. I got a little perturbed, and it's pieces and parts of that U-joint over in this area somewhere. I don't know. What I'm going to do is pull this yoke out. We're going to get a different one, but I gotta pull it out because they got a 4-inch and a 5-inch. I got to know which one I got because I'm pretty sure our drive shaft is still going to work. I won't have to fool with it. So got to pull that out and get the measurement. And I'm going to get one for a 1310. That way you can go to parts store anywhere in the world, get a U-joint for this and put it in. Also, after we do that, dude's rear end over here, well, it's got the same yoke, so I'll buy 2 of them. But I've got every piece to build this except the carrier bearings. Ford used 2 or 3 different sizes. Pretty sure these are going to be the small ones, but I got to make sure. So we got to pull that chunk out, measure the OD of the bearings. Then once we do that, we can get over here and go to working on our 4 bars. I'll show you about that here in a minute, but let me pull this yoke out real quick. It's starting to rain. I need to look at the weather app, make sure we ain't got no tornadoes coming. I forgot I put Loctite on that little feller. Let me get my hammer. I'm trying not to pull it all the way out because I don't want to lose a bunch of grease. I'm going to barely pull it out to the end. Right there. That's 4-inch. Yes, sir. All right. Let me put that nut back on so I don't pull that off accidentally. Well, I determined that this is a 4-inch, but I got the drive shaft in. And it's gonna be about right there. Look at here, we got way too much hanging out. Even if I go with a 5-inch down here, that's still a whole lot hanging out to put us right there. I don't know. Let me think on that a little bit. I got to get this ordered. Like I said, I got to tear that chunk out over there. Well, I got the yoke off this rear end that's going in, dude. It's a long one. Oh yeah. Here's the deal. I've done a little research, and it seems like most all the long ones are going to be this goofy 1330 big cap. And well, I might as well just use this one then and buy a new one. And still got to use that U-joint? Nah, we're going to use that one there. Hopefully, you know, having that much yoke hanging out up here transmission, hopefully that ain't going to affect nothing. It ain't like I'm racing it, fellas. It's a cruiser. Eventually, we may make a little bit longer drive shaft, but I ain't too worried about that. But I do think we'll use this yoke. I'll have to find another U-joint. Hopefully, this one won't get slung across the shop. I don't know if y'all can hear the rain or not. It's been doing this for 30 minutes. It's coming to flood. They don't have any tornado warnings out, but they do have hail warnings, flash flood, and 60-mile-an-hour winds. It's finally letting up. I mean, it's been, downpouring. We probably got an inch in 30 minutes. Yes, sir. Sure do. Anyway, this is not going to be very good audio, but we got to do what we got to do. Let me tear this chunk out of this rear end right here, and then we'll get back on the old Forte. Got the chunk tore out. Here's the outer race. This is the one you're worried about. The ID on all of them are the same. Inch and 781, 82, something like that. This outer race is the one you got to worry about. They have a 2.891 maybe. And then the larger one, that's what this one is, the 3.062. So now that I know that, I know which bearings to order. I'm going to go ahead and order them. Got to order new pinion bearings. I got a crush sleeve. I got the seal. I got shims. So the only thing I need is bearings. And I might get some new bolts for the ring gear. I don't know. It depends. I don't know. We may use them. Anyway, let me get this stuff ordered. Get this out of the way because we're going to have this table to weld on. Then I'll tell you all about the Forte. Well, I just checked the rainfall. We got 1.5 inches of rain in about 30 minutes. Yes, sir. That's quite a bit of rain. Sure is. Anyways, let's get back on the old Forte. Let me jog your memory real quick. If you recall last week, that joint right up there broke. Well, you see I welded it back good enough to be able to move the car around. But yes, sir, this junk here, it's going bye-bye. Well, let me just walk right over here and I'll show you what I'm going to be using. I will be building my own bars using these right here. This is called a Heim joint. See how it moves, articulates? The reason I went with this is because these rod ends here, if that's what you want to call them, they just got a little bitty plastic bushing. Well, I showed y'all on the last video, the old 40, they got a really thin, cheap piece of junk plastic bushing. Well, when the suspension, you know, articulates like this and that, it ain't really got much to flex on. You know, factory stuff's got a big old fat rubber bushing in there. Most aftermarket stuff, they'll have urethane bushings. Well, that little old plastic stuff, no sir, that ain't no count. So when it comes time for that suspension to move, well, that ball will allow that to move around. And well, I got these off of Amazon, and it comes with these little weld-in bungs is what they call them, and got some DOM tubing that's 1.25 OD, 1 inch ID, and then bungs, I'll just slip right up in there. You weld them up and that's it. You got a left hand and a right hand. Put one on one end, one on the other. That way you just turn the tubing. You either lengthen it or shorten it. Oh yeah. So let me get in here, get me a measurement. We'll start on this bottom bar, I guess. Let me get a measurement. And we'll get right over here on the old welding table. We'll start making some bars. Got me a measurement, and from center of the bolt to center of the bolt is 28 inches. Well, you got to take into consideration, I got this much here that I got to take off. So center of this eye to right here where the tubing will start, 3 inches. So 3 inches on either end. Take 6 away from 28. What do you have? You have 22. I need to cut 2 of these 22 inches long and then weld these bungs in, and we'll have the bottom ones. What did I say, 22 inches? Approximately right here. I'm gonna bevel these ends just a little bit, make it, you know, be a little bit better weld. All right, let's get one of these bars in anyway, see what it looks like. Also, I got grade 8 bolts. These ones here, I ain't gonna throw them away because they may come in handy, but they don't belong on suspension. Ooh, I tightened that up a little bit. Oh, I remember now. This right here spreads out a little bit. Y'all see these? That's where they belong. Now these are not as wide, so I gotta make spacers, but I ain't worried about that right now. Let me find my bolts. Also, these are a little bit longer. These ones, they wouldn't quite touch the Teflon, so it's useless to have them. I got these a wee bit longer, so the Teflon will go over the bolt and actually do its job. But watch this right here. Well, let me tighten this up. See how that bar can twist quite a bit? I'm just gonna let that axle twist without getting stuff in the bind. Oh, and yeah. Then also, watch this right here. Let me loosen the nuts up. I'm not quite there. So what you do is you turn that bar, oh yeah, till about right there. That's it. Put a bolt in, you're done. Like I said, I gotta make spacers. Don't know if I'll get that done tonight. This is gonna be a short night, by the way. Anyway, let me get a measurement on this top one. We'll get 2 of them made. Well, we got us an issue, as usual, with everything we do around here. The heim joint, the eyelet, the outer part of it, well, it's hitting the mount here. And won't let me get my bolt in. I measured that, and I could have swore these would fit. Maybe I forgot to measure these. I don't know. I'm gonna get like a crescent wrench or something, see if I can bend this down. Probably not, because that's 3/16 metal. Let me see what I can do with it. Well, I got that fixed. I just took this big old crescent wrench here, hooked it on here and bent that down. Oh yeah, we got room now. Suspension is all the way down, by the way, so it don't have to swivel down anymore. But now my bolt is just a wee bit too long, and my Teflon lock nut is too big and won't fit in there. So I'm gonna grind a little bit off the back side of this, take a little bit off of this right here. Hopefully that'll work. Let me do that, and then I'll be back. Well, the first attempt at this did not work. As you can see, I melted the Teflon, and it's just brittle now. It just breaks. I tried grinding it with my big grinder right here. Well, I got it too hot. Well, this time I got a little smarter, and I'm gonna use my cutoff wheel and then hit it with this wet rag. You know, just cut a little bit and then cool it, cut a little bit, cool it. So let us see if that'll work. I gotta spin it so I get that last little bit. Can't really clamp it now because it's mostly cut. Let me try something right here. Put it right there, then I can clamp it. Oh yeah. I do believe this attempt was successful. My camera won't focus for some reason. Anyway, this will work. Let's put it on, and then I got to do one more for the other side. Let us see if this will fit. Oh yeah, she started and everything. As long as the bolt ain't too long, I think it'll be all right. Let me do the same thing over here. And then we're gonna look at the brakes real quick. Well, I thought I had an extra 5/8 Teflon lock nut, but I do not. So I'll have to get one of them tomorrow, and then we'll have to modify it like we did this one over here. But there is our new 4-bar suspension on the old Forte. Don't look too bad. It'll be much, much easier to adjust too, because you just grab the bar and twist it one way or the other instead of having to take it loose and only turn one end. Gotta be painted, but I don't think I'm gonna do it tonight because we got to make spacers, because you see, she's flopping back and forth. Got to make spacers, and I'll be handling these, and they probably won't be dry tomorrow, so I'll wait and do that last thing. What I want to do right now is, you remember how my calipers were going to hit the frame? Well, I got different calipers. Let's take this wheel off and look at that real quick. It's getting late, but I want to do that. That'll give me a little bit of idea of what I need to do. I can sleep on it. Maybe I'll dream up something tonight while I sleep. I have to put my extensions on my jack to raise this up high enough to get this off. The coilover doesn't have very much travel. Well, it keeps the axle from separating from the body enough to get this off. So yeah, I have to do that. The other day when I was telling y'all I was going to have to carry me a 4x4 with me in case I had flat, that's why I have to jack this body up real high so I can slip this out. Hopefully it'll work anyway. Oh yeah, look at here. I think it's gonna come out. Oh yeah. Here is the calipers that we're gonna try to use. They're very thin compared to the others. These are what they call the GM metric calipers. I think I told y'all wrong when we did the disc brakes on the front here. I believe I told y'all these were the metrics. No, sir. Those are, I believe, what they call the GM large calipers. Well, you can see the difference in size. It's quite a bit smaller. I measured these from the inside of the rotor to here, and we're gonna have like maybe a 1/2 inch of clearance. So let me stick it up there and see if that bracket, we can make it work, or if I got to make another one. All right, I don't know if it's gonna work or not. If we put it here, I'm most likely gonna have to make a different bracket. I'm talking about my clearance. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. If we put it there, we got plenty of clearance here, but right here where the hose hooks up, it sticks out a little bit. I'm afraid it's gonna hit this lip on this frame. It won't if it goes straight up and down, but it's gonna articulate, and it's liable to hit that. I think what we'll do tomorrow is we'll pull this bracket off, then we'll put this on here, clamp it on with air. I'll get my little fitting, and we'll see. We'll articulate that rear end and see if it's going to hit or not. If it don't, well then we will proceed. If it's going to hit, then we'll just have to use drum brakes. That's the only thing I know to do. Yes, I do know this goes on the other side. We may go over there tomorrow instead of doing it over here, and just see how it's going to do with articulation. Make sure it's not going to hit right here. Well, I'm over here at Mama's on the lathe today making some spacers. Remember I told you wherever the heim joint is, I got to have spacers because they're not as wide as the old rod ends were. Well, they got to be a 1/2 inch. Got to have 2 per mount per bracket. I got 4 made. I got 12 more to go. Let us get busy and get these made. Using my dial indicator here to measure 1/2 of 1 inch. And that's how long they have to be. I got my backstop over here I could use, but this is a little bit quicker. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back up a little bit. All right, lock her down, lock her down. Then we're gonna cut it off. Get ready for some chattering. Ta-da! Only 11 more to go now. Right now I am deburring the ID. When I get done with that, I got to deburr the OD. That thing is wobbling. This chuck is, goodness gracious, it's about to fall off. Anyway, when I get done with this, I got to do the OD, and then we can go put them on. Well, I got the spacers on the bottom arms, and we got an issue. Imagine that, an issue with something we do around here. The spacers, they're 5/8 ID, 1 1/16 OD. These are the spacers that came with Dude's lower A-arms. I didn't have to use them, so I just made spacers out of them, smaller ones. The heim joint, when it's articulating, well, it's hitting that spacer because the OD is so big, and that's really going to limit us on our articulation on our suspension, before stuff gets in a bind. Remember last night I told you we was going to raise it up and down and make sure our caliper ain't going to hit. Well, we're going to have to check articulation on this too. If we don't have enough articulation right here, then I'll have to get a smaller OD, what's that called, spacer, and that'll help us out. Anyway, let me get my jack under here and we'll go to raising this up and down and check caliper and this right here. Well, I just spent approximately 30 minutes Trying to get that caliper bracket off due to, well, I'm sure if I got the box out, it would say made in China. This is about the 4th one that's done this. Well, you can see right here, the nut gauges on the bolt. Yep, that one there I had to cut it off because it just, my big impact here, that's 3/8 bolt, wouldn't move it. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, it's just, well, Chinese junk, that's all it is. Oh, one of y'all left a little comment, a little smarty comment on last week's video. Keep buying Chinese junk and keep complaining about it. Well, feller, not everybody as rich as you. We can't buy the best of everything. Maybe you're living under a rock. Pretty much everything's made in China or somewhere else nowadays. The U.S. don't manufacture a whole lot. So I don't understand why you people want to come on somewhere and comment some old stupid crap like it. Just, if you don't like it, just go on somewhere. Anyway, I'm aggravated. This is aggravating me. Anyway, let me get this caliper on here, and we'll put air to it. We'll articulate the suspension and see if it's going to hit or not. All right, let's articulate the suspension. The caliper, I'd like to have it right there. Let's just see what that looks like. Suspension going up. You're hitting a big bump. Pulling up. All right, we are lifting the car off of the jack. So that's where it's going to be at ride height. And I can put a hand in between it and the frame. And that other side is down all the way. So that's a pretty good angle that it's going to be. I think we'll be okay. Yes, sir. It's an inch or more from the biggest part of the caliper to the closest part of the frame. I do believe it will be okay. Now, what about our suspension articulation? Yes, sir, she's in a bind. No, wait a minute. Oh, it's moving. Y'all look here, I gotta show you that. Y'all look at this right here. It's moving. Oh, yeah, she's gonna articulate a whole bunch. So we don't have to change the spacers out. That's awesome. Let's get to making this a caliper bracket. Well, I decided to take the coilover loose so we could articulate all the way up on this side. Well, we like 1.5 inches or so because that upper bar is hitting our rear end right there. Yes, sir. Now this is, this is worst case scenario if I'm out in the field somewhere, or if I'm going high speed and my rear end is like that, I'm in trouble. The last thing I'm gonna worry about is my suspension not articulating all the way. Yeah, I'm gonna be in bad shape. I think we'll be okay. This bar, it can still move. And our caliper, well, let me get the light in here. Our caliper still has plenty of room. And this is max articulation. So yes, sir, I think we'll be okay. One day we may take care of that issue in there on that mount. Either needs to be moved forward or make it taller. We'll worry about that another day. It ain't no big deal. Like I said, if my suspension is like this, yeah, I'm in trouble. Anyway, let's make some caliper brackets. Y'all look here. That's another dummy in here. It's probably the same one. Are you stupid or what? Let me go get the feeder, see if I can't get him out of here. I swear. Well, I went in the house for a little while doing stuff and come back out here. I put my feeder on top of the car. You can see it right there. Well, I've got 3 hummingbirds flying around in here now that can't get out. What is wrong with these stupid little birds? I'm gonna set the feeder out here, right here on the ladder. Maybe they'll see it and get on out. I ain't never in my life seen nothing like this. Well, I've sort of got a trial run on the caliper bracket. Here it is right here. It was going to be a weld on, weld to the axle tube, but well, it didn't line up very good. So I have decided to go ahead and bolt it right there, but I don't have a whole lot of meat, so we're gonna have to remake that some kind of way, get a little more meat there. And I got to do a little more fitting because the caliper, where's it at? Right here. This piece here is now hitting right in here. I gotta redo that. I'm just well, I'm very frustrated because I've had 3 hummingbirds. It's 10 o'clock at night and that fool is still flying around in here. I've turned all the lights out. I set his feeder there with a light shining on it, and he's still too stupid to get out of here. The other 2, I don't know if they got out or if they're dead in here somewhere or hiding for the night. I ain't got a clue. But it's been extremely frustrating trying to work We got 3 birds fluttering over your head. I'm done for the evening. Going in. I'm gonna set him a bird feeder in here. If he gets him a drink, fine. If he don't, well, he'll just have to die. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's the next day, and he's still in here. Yes, sir. Right there. I left the door open. I had the ladder sitting right here at the door with that feeder on it and a light shining on the feeder, all other lights turned off. And I left it open till about 3 o'clock this morning. And apparently he's just really stupid. I'm gonna open the door, put the feeder there again. I don't know how I'm gonna get him out. I really don't. Well, I got the door open, but I'm gonna leave the feeder sitting on top of that pole. I got a camera on the feeder. This little camera has been so handy and dandy. I've had it for years. Anyway, I put it aimed at the feeder last night, you know, hoping to see if he'd come down and was, you know, still in here, basically. What I was trying to figure out. Well, I had it sitting right here, and at about 1:30, I swear it looks like he flies by the camera back into the shop at 1:30 in the morning. That's how stupid he is. So I'll show y'all that video right here. But I don't know how to get him out. I got to run to town. I'm gonna leave this door open. Maybe he'll get out. I don't know. Y'all look here what I got. A stupid little hummingbird in a swimming pool net. What in the world is wrong with you, dude? Get out of here. Go away. I've never in my life seen anything like this. I imagine he's wore out. Let me go get the feeder and set it right here next to him. Well, I got a feeder sitting right here next to him. He's still hanging out in the net. I guess he's just wore out. He has been in there for about 20 hours, pretty much constantly flying back and forth. I don't know how he survived, because like I said, I've had my camera on the feeder. I seen him fly to it one time, and he just flew to, he didn't drink, he just flew to it and flew away. So I don't know what he's been surviving on. But yes, sir, I'd say he's pretty doggone wore out. Are you stupid? Huh? Are you a dum-dum? Don't come back in my shop. Crazy thing. I tell you what, I don't know if y'all can tell yesterday, it wasn't a good day, yesterday afternoon. And I thought when I got up this morning, it's gonna be a better day today. No, sir. Had that stupid little bird in here. And I just got back from town. What should have took 30 minutes, 2.5 hours later, I'm finally back home and still didn't get everything I needed. I don't understand people. I don't understand businesses. They're not in the business to make money, I don't think. Anyway, I'm aggravated still, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make me 2 brackets, get them mounted, get the calipers mounted. When I get that done, I'll be back. Y'all ain't gonna believe it unless I show you. There's another one in here. What are they doing? I ain't got a clue. I know they're attracted to red, so I guess I'm just gonna have to get rid of anything red in here, or just shut the doors and burn up. I can't keep dealing with this. What in the world? Let me get my net, see if I can get him out of here. Well, by the time I got back with the feeder, that one there was pretty smart. It figured out how to get out of here with this great big door right here. Well, I decided to move my feeder here at the corner of the house, because this is getting on my nerves. I had it around the back door. Well, if I put it here, there's one flying over now. Anyway, if I put it here, evidently this is a hummingbird highway through here. If I put that feeder there, maybe they'll see that and go there instead of going in here. And I reckon everything red, I'm gonna paint it black. That's really annoying. Anyway, let me show you update on my bracket here. I got one made, but we got an issue. The pad in there is sticking above the rotor. If I move it down where it's, you know, touching the whole rotor, clearance right here on this pin goes to nothing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. The GM brakes that this come off of is a 10.5 inch rotor. This is 11 3/8, somewhere in there. That's most likely the issue. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, because it ain't gonna work under its current configuration. What I don't get though is They sell a kit, a geometric brake kit for the rear. Comes with 11.5-inch rotors. How they're making it work, I don't know, unless they're using different pads. I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm going to do, and quickly, because time's running out. I want this car done by this weekend. By this video, this car's going to be done one way or the other. Let me do some head scratching and figure out what I'm going to do. Well, I've come up with something. I ground a little bit off the inside of my bracket here to push it that way, and you know, to get the pads below this surface. Well, I've got 35 thousandths. Well, it's a little more down here, but 35 up here on the top is what I got. And y'all, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but this inside pad, it's good now. But the outside one, it's just a minute, maybe, you know, 15, 20 thousandths above this surface here. It's going to have to do. I don't have any other options. We can't use the Ford drum brakes because the drum won't fit this bolt pattern. These are going to have to work. That's my last option for now. I want to take this bracket off. I got to make a copy of it. Well, I'm going to modify it. I'm going to add some metal here and there and make it a little stronger. Then I was planning on, I don't know if y'all can see it or not. It's bolted on. Where is it at? Right there. It's bolted on. Well, I'm probably going to weld it too to keep it from moving, because this clearance is so small. I don't want that pin to rub my rotor. So once I get it bolted in, it's probably going to get welded in too. The reason I'm doing this, originally I was going to weld it like right here. Well, it didn't want to fit right, and I didn't like that. Plus, if I ever needed to get these bolts out for my retainer, I couldn't, because that bracket would be welded on. Well, now with it bolted on, I can get the bolts out. You know, if one of them messes up like we had earlier, where's it at? It galled really bad. Anyway, let me make 2 copies of that bracket. Maybe we can make this work. Well, I finally got a caliper mounted, I think. I made a new bracket, you know, going by my pattern. I had hacked it up so much trying to get things to fit right. But I finally got a real bracket made. I got probably 50 or 60 thousandths clearance between this pin and the rotor. The brake pad, it may be sticking past the end of the rotor just a hair. It's the best I can do. How in the world they make these a bolt-on kit, I don't know. It's just such a tight clearance there. Anyway, got it done. I know I ain't showed none of that, but last 2 days it's just been wow trying to get this to work. This whole rear end from the beginning, it's just been a nightmare. This was about as bad as me screwing up that axle tube. Remember when we first started on it? Yep. Anyway, got it done. I'm gonna make another copy. We'll run brake lines and we'll be done with this. Working on the second bracket, tapping my holes for my slide bolts. And then I got to put it on. We got to mark these bottom holes here. And like I said, I'm probably going to at least tack them on just to help hold it, because once I drill these holes, there's not a whole lot of meat right here. So I'm probably going to put a little tack there just to help it out. But y'all are probably tired of hearing about the hummingbirds. You got one right there? Yeah. And then, well, in the last hour, I've had 3 more come in. I think all of them but that one has gotten out. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know why they're coming in here. I have no clue. I don't know what to do about it other than just leave my doors closed. And, well, you know, it gets pretty warm in here during the day. But anyway, let me get this other bracket done. That's probably all I'm going to do tonight. We now have disc brakes on the back of the 04T. Yes, sir. Well, almost. I don't have my line run. We got to bleed it. But other than that, these calipers are mounted. I went ahead and welded a little spot. I can't know if I can get in there or not. You don't see, but I welded a little spot on that bracket. See it right there to the left of the screen. Anyway, that's just to help it out, because it ain't got them 2 bolts holding it, and ain't a whole lot of meat there. Anyways, that should help it out. I know I ain't showed none of this today. I'm just trying to get it done, because we still got a lot to do on Dude. And, well, let me tell you this. When I tell you that I don't stress out, I don't get stressed, I mean it. But when I tell you, hey, I'm stressing out, you better believe me. And I'm to that point, yep. This shouldn't have took nowhere near this long, but my brain is, well, I don't like 2 different projects. Plus we're crunched for time, and it's just, well, my brain can't process everything right now. Anyway, we don't have a whole lot left to do. I was hoping to get it done this weekend, but tomorrow's Saturday, and we're not going to finish it up. Hopefully we'll finish it up Monday. Like I said, we got to run a line across here, bleed the brakes. I just got done putting the rest of my spacers in the upper bars, and I got the rear end centered now. And we got a U-joint, got it yesterday. We'll put that in the draft shaft. Hopefully it'll act right and I won't sling it across the shop. Got to do the floorboard, and I want to put we've got to put a windshield in it. I'm not driving all over the country with that. No, sir. It ain't even got no rubber out here. No, I bought all rubber for all the windows and the windshield glass. That's got to be changed. The other, I ain't too worried about it, but that windshield has got to be changed. Yes, sir. If you saw my post on Facebook, think about making a little panel, cover this up and then leave this open so we can see them pretty 3-deuce carburetors. Look at that. Oh, yeah. If I got time, I'll do that. And then we got to make her look, you know, a little bit better than what she does. We'll talk about that later. But right now I'm going in the house. This has been a 12-hour day. My knee's killing me. I still got at least 1 hummingbird up there in the ceiling, possibly 2. That really bothers me. Y'all don't understand that. That bothers me, them little fellers getting in here and not being able to get out. I had the door, well, I had it so low that I had to duck under, and the fools still come in here. I guess I'm just gonna have to leave the door shut. I gotta get that air conditioner hooked up, I guess. Anyways, he's gonna have to stay in here tonight. Yep, just saw him move right up there in that corner. There you see him. Let me zoom in. Yep, see him moving? Little idiot. Anyway, he's going to have him some food in here. He'll have to spend the night in here, and hopefully we can get him out tomorrow. I'm going in the house. I'm tired. I'm going to eat me something. I'm going to bed, and we'll hit her again tomorrow. Well, if I told you I was very well rested today and my brain was all rested up, well, that would be a lie. Sure would be. Very tired. But the show must go on, fellas. We got a whole lot more work to do in just a couple of weeks. Before we get started, let me give you a little update on the hummingbird situation. You know, that stayed in here all night last night. We'll come out here this morning, raised the door, put his food right here on the ladder, went in the house and did my morning routine, come back out and he was gone. So he was semi-smart on the hummingbird scale. That ain't saying a whole lot though. I did do a little reading on them though, and well, they've got to eat every 10 to 15 minutes, but at night when they go to sleep, their metabolism slows way down, and they can go into a hibernation state. Like if they get caught somewhere cold, they call it torpor, and their metabolism slows way, way down. They're most active in the morning and the evening. That explains why they were coming in here, you know, right before dark, a whole bunch. They'll never get caught in here in the morning because I don't know if y'all figured it out or not, but I'm not a morning person. No, sir. I am definitely a night owl. That's why I work so late, because I'm a night owl. Anyways, enough about the hummingbirds. I got my doors. They're about 4 feet open. Hopefully that'll keep them out, but still let some air come in, because it's pretty warm today. Yes, sir. I got to have a breeze till we get that air hooked up. Hopefully we'll get that hooked up after we get back from power tour. Anyways, what I'm doing right now is I got the rear end jacked up. Fixing to run this brake line across here, and I wanted to check, make sure my hose could stretch far enough, you know, with all the way up and all the way down. I think it's going to be just fine and dandly. But completely forgot, you know, these are calipers that come off the front of a car. I got to have hoses. Yes, sir, sure do. So I got to run to Ireland right now. Well, I got to see if they got the hoses, and if they do, I got to go get them, and then I come back and we can run this line and then do the drive shaft and then start working on that floorboard. So let me check that. Oh, also we got something else we got to do. These bushings on these, we call them coilovers. We'll see how that one's all distorted. It's trying to slide that way. Top one's doing the same. Well, I got a whoosher right here to keep it from sliding off. And then over here I put a whoosher on this side. So I got to do that on all 4 points. Put a whoosher on either side to keep it from sliding back and forth. We'll do that after we do the brakes. And then, well, we'll just keep on trucking. Let me see if I can find brake hoses first. Well, here's the deal. I've been pretty lazy today, I ain't gonna lie to you. We're not gonna run hoses though. I got online and looked for some fittings that would go from, banjo bolt to regular old tube nut, like you'd run on brake line. I found some. I got them coming. They'll hopefully be here in 2 or 3 days. So we got to wait on the brake lines. And what I'm doing now, remember how I said on these coilovers, the bushings, they kept sliding back and forth. And remember how I told you we had some grade 5 metric bolts on the coilovers? The bolt store didn't have grade 8s this long. So I just ran to town to Tractor Supply and got me the grade 8 bolts I need. So we'll put them in. You know what I forgot to get though? I didn't get enough of these nuts. I swear. I didn't even think about it. These are for something else. I'll have to go back to Lowe's sometime and get the nuts for these. I'll tell you what. Anyway, I'm changing them bolts out. Plus we're putting the washers on each side of the bushing, keep it from sliding back and forth. Let me get that done, and I think we'll get the drive shaft in. Then we'll go to working on that floor. I ain't looking forward to the floor. I don't like body work. It's body work. I don't like it. Gotta be done though. Let me get these done and I'll be back. Here's what I've got done in the last couple of hours. Got all my grade 8 bolts changed out. I got my big washers on each side of my bushing. Did the same thing up there. Then I went to adjusting on this coilover. And I got her maxed out just to get close to the right height that we had. Yeah, it's like, actually, well, it's close over here, but over here we still like, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and they're maxed out. So we may have to revisit our mounting system on our coilovers eventually. But right now they're gonna have to do. Oh yeah. After I did that, I set my wheelbase. And on both sides, I fudged a little bit. I went to 123.5. I had it at 124. I didn't like all that thread hanging out. It'd probably be all right, but just for my peace of mind, I brought it into 123.5. As you can see now, there ain't a whole lot of thread hanging out on them. Then I tightened up all my nuts. I got pinion angle set. Then tightened up all the nuts on this. Of course, I'd already centered it back and forth. And also, I put my 1/4 inch wheel spacers on, and now we got a knuckle everywhere except for right over here. We ain't got but a fingertip, that precision measuring system used, but I think it'll be all right. And it moved the tire out to where we ain't got all that big old gap now, but we still got enough where I don't think we're gonna rub. Let's go over here and look at the other side real quick. Listen here. It ain't got as much room. I may end up having to take that spacer off. We'll just have to see. Hopefully it'll be all right though, because like I told y'all before, I like my tires just as far out as I can get them. I don't like them stuck way in. Anyways, I reckon that's about all I've done. That's all I can think of anyway. I'm fixing to change the U-joint out on the drive shaft. We'll put that in. Then I reckon we put the exhaust on. Yes sir, forgot about that. Was planning on trying to get the floor done tonight too, but I don't know that I'm gonna make it. My knees and my legs, man, they're hurting me today so bad. I ain't as young as I used to be. No sir, sure ain't. I might study on it, and then we'll do that Monday, and hopefully get the rest of the stuff done Monday too. Let me tackle this U-joint real quick. All right, let me whoop on this U-joint. Hopefully it acts a little better than that other one did. I'm going to turn it over and drive the other one in, then we'll drive that in the rest of the way. The reason I'm doing that is, well, this was falling down and it ain't stuck in the needles might fall out. I'm trying to avoid that. Now pick that up to get that middle part up in there where the needles won't move. Then you go to picking on it. Then you get you a socket. Drive her down till we can get her little clipper in. Get in. All right, now let me turn her over. Drive that other one on in. I hear all the bumblebees going down the road. That's the trouble I had before. You know, usually they'll get tight when you drive both your cups in. Well, then you peck on it and move it around and it'll loosen up. But that other one, I mean, she was locked up. Would not move at all, I mean. All right, they're both in. I'm gonna peck on her just a wee bit. That's a little better. Let me give me a punch and hit on it. Oh yeah, there we go. What happens is you drive the cup in, it gets squished, and you need to separate them back apart, because what it is this end is rubbing that end in there, and it gets real tight. But yes sir, that is mucho betero. Let's get this here driving shaft in this car. Oh yeah. All right, let me torque these down. Clicker! Clicker! What about this one over here? Clicker! Well, I gotta turn it. Ooh. Clicker! All right, got that in. Well, I was gonna put the exhaust on, but these gaskets are pretty bad looking. Y'all know how I hate exhaust leaks, so we'll wait on that. I will go to Ireland tomorrow, maybe. Possibly Monday. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. Like I said, I'm gonna study my floor just a few minutes. I gotta get off my feet, fellas. My legs are killing me. I'm old. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's day rest. That's what I plan on doing. I hope you do the same. See y'all Monday. Well, I reckon today will be the day that we get this floorboard done. I've been sort of dreading this. You know, I just don't like body work at all. But here's the plan. I'm gonna do. We're just gonna come from here straight up. We're gonna go on top of this bar. I'll probably put some screws or something across there to keep it from rattling. Then, well, this other section, you see how it's cut out. I may cut it out straight. We may just leave. I don't know. It's just a, you know, freestyle body work, I guess is what you call it. But we're gonna go straight up over, and then we may angle that other piece down, just, you know, to make it look cool. Anyway, I got my measurements. It's 47 by 10. I got me a pattern cut for this little zigzag right here. Let's get over here and cut this metal. This is the metal we made the gas tank out of. I don't even remember what gauge it is. It's fairly thick. It'll be okay because that's what I got. We use what we got around here. Oh yeah. All right, my pattern is going to be just like that right there. Well, there's the first piece, and of course it fit perfectamundoli without having to trim it 14 times. Literally 14 times. This little sag in the middle, this bottom part sagging, we'll have to pull it up. That gap is, I gotta pull it this way. It's fitting pretty good. We're gonna put some caulk on it after we get done. Let me get this tacked in place, and then we'll start on that next piece. First panel is done. No, sir, we are not welding up solid. Absolutely not. That'd be a whole lot of welding. The entire floor on this car's got to be replaced one of these days. And this is just to get her done, basically. We're gonna come around with some caulk on the seams. The main goal, keep out waters and keep out exhaust fumes. This will suffice, and then like I said, eventually the whole floorboard, front to back, is gonna be replaced. I'm starting on the second panel now. Let me show you what I'm doing. This is the one going across the top. And I'm gonna bend the 90 1-inch long all the way across, and we'll just screw it across the back. And then we may do the last panel the same way. Oh yeah. Anyways, let me see if I can get this bent. I've started bending it. It was just whooping on it with a hammer. Seems to be doing all right. Let me see if I can get all the way across here. My table ain't long enough, as you can tell. We'll have to scoot it over or move it when I get down here. Let me see if I can get this bent. Let us whoop upon it with a hammer. There's our panel with the bend. Yes, sir. It tried to bow on us, and I whooped on it, flattened it down, and then I took my hammer, and then my table was my dolly, and whooped on this bend. Got it a little straighter than it was. I'm not a body man. I don't know how to make body panels. I don't own any body working tools, no metal shaping tools, other than that hammer and this table. Yes, sir. To the fellers that do this and do it well, I have the utmost respect for them. There's a couple of channels, the guys are really, really good with making panels. I mean, pretty, with rolling and all that. Yeah, it blows my mind what they can do. I can't do it, probably never will be able to do it. I don't really want to do it, to be honest with you. I hate body work. Anyways, this'll be just fine and dandy. I sort of wished I would have made the gas tank like this now. It looked a little bit better. I really didn't think that would bend that easy though. That's why I didn't even try. Anyways, get her in the car, see what it looks like. Well, it fits wonderfully, it sure does. The only thing is, when I was doing this panel here, I kept trimming it. Well, I trimmed a little too much off, and now this panel is headed uphill. I don't care, I really don't. It'll be just fine and dandy. We do have a little gap here. I'm gonna put a screw or two here. I was gonna screw the whole thing, but I think we'll go ahead and tack it. It ain't that big a deal. I'm gonna put a couple screws here to draw them together before I start welding it. Then I will screw it across the top and keep it from rattling. And then, well, we'll start on another panel. Well, I lied. I went ahead and screwed it on. It don't look too bad. I got to tack it on the sides here. I might have to go out there and peck with a hammer on the fender well. Let me get this last panel made. We'll be done with this. With our tis, it's finally done. Yes, sir. There's a little angle up front. We'll go up there in just a second, look at it. But like I said, I did not weld it solid. I just tacked it a bunch, and then we're gonna put caulk. I ain't using seam sealer. They think too much of that stuff. $35 a tube. I ain't doing it. No, sir. I got some. I don't even know where it's at. It's urethane caulk. I ain't never used it. We're gonna try it. Let's go up front, see what it looks like. Here it is from the front. It don't look too bad, I don't think. For a backyard butchery, somebody that don't know how to do body work, yeah, it ain't too bad. Like I said, I got to caulk it, and I'm gonna try to caulk a bunch of these holes. It may be impossible, but you see how many holes there are in this thing in the dark. Pretty bad. I'm gonna try to caulk a bunch of them up though, just keep rainwater and exhaust fumes out. I'll do that sometime here in a little bit. I think next what we're gonna do, we're gonna raise it up, put the exhaust back on. Then I got a hood latch cable, put that on. Then we put the hood on, have that done. And I don't know if I'm gonna fool with it tonight or not, but might start on this windshield. We might fool with it tonight, I don't know. Let us get this exhaust us in this. What the devil? Get in there. Ta-da! Oh, my hand. Oh. All right, let me get it hooked up here. And we'll be done with this. Exhaust is back on. Had to take this one back off, of course. You know, that's just normal around here, having to do things 2 or 3 times. My power wire, it was laying over on my muffler, and I didn't like it. So I had to take the muffler back off, put me another clamp in there, keep that from happening. And then I ran it on up like it used to be, and then on up through the floorboard. I was admiring the 4-bar system. Tell you what, it don't look too bad. I feel pretty good about it now. I don't think we're gonna break nothing like we did with that old cheap Chinese junk. I think we're ready to go. Let's look at these, we call them, actually, let me show you something real quick. I don't know what has happened, but them coilovers are sort of in a bind. They're angled back towards the back of the vehicle. And I don't know why. I really don't. Like I said, we're gonna have to revisit this upper mount because we're gonna have to raise the car up a little bit probably. I don't know, maybe not. It depends on, you know, if I do a different drive shaft tunnel. Anyways, I'm happy with it for now, but this here, we're gonna have to revisit it. Well, the door trick worked for a day and a half. Look what I got. Yep. A little idiot flying around in here, and it's just about dark. It's probably gonna be hard to get him out, so I'm gonna say he's probably gonna stay in here all night. Let me get his feeder and set it on the ladder right here. Hopefully it don't attract more to come in. Well, I don't see the little dummy flying around. I don't see him perched nowhere. I put his food over yonder at the door, and that big old red shirt. Yeah, I put that down there. You know, they're attracted to red. One or the other worked, because the little dummy, I don't think he's in here anymore. Anyways, I changed out my lug nuts. I had the regular acorn open end style. I put my fancy chrome ones on there. And then I ran my hood latch cable. Oh yeah, look at here. Ta-da! It's hidden, you can't see it out here under the hood. I got it ran in this loom right here, and then it goes up yonder. Fixing to put the hood on. I'm missing the bolt, I think. Where'd they go? Here they are. I ain't got but 3, you know, they're a shoulder bolt. I think when I took it off, one of them was some old goofy bolt. One of the threads is probably stripped out in the hood. So we're gonna leave that one off for now. Let me get that hood up here, see if I can get the bolts in it and get them springs on. All right, let's get this fella on here. Easy, easy. Let me get my hood prop. Well, it's about to fall off. What the devil? I don't know how I did this last time. I put it down in here. We'll try it right there, see what it does. Let's see if I can get these bolts in here. I can't really get to that. I need a light. I can't see what I'm doing, man. Do you see anything not right in this latch area? I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to be up here. I don't know. It didn't break here. I don't know what happened. But it ain't supposed to be there. It's supposed to be attached up here. So, well, I got to see about this. May have to order a new one. Let me see if I can get it out of there. The art is, I don't know how this was fastened, because this didn't just break because it's rusty. There ain't no way a nut was on that because there ain't no threads left. So I guess it was just up in there hanging out. I don't know. I think what I'll do, you know, we got to have this piece. What I'll do is probably cut it off here, weld me a bolt, and then cut the head off the bolt. I think that'll work. I ain't doing it tonight though. We'll do that tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you what, I try to keep this a family channel. That hood right there, that's the worst hood I've ever tried to get on in my entire life. Yes, sir. I think we're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna spend the next hour caulking our little box that we built, and then I may try to caulk a bunch of these holes. Tomorrow we'll fix that hood latch. What else? Windshield. And we gotta make her pretty. And then we're gonna be done with it. Yes, sir. Sure are. Well, I got all the holes filled in with caulk last night. Got all that caulked. It's very, very bright white. So I decided today I'd go ahead and give it a coat of paint, because let me tell you, that white, it really stood out. So I painted the whole box, caulk, all the places where I put caulk in. Also, I had to use a little bit of expanding foam right over here. It's pretty bad. Yeah, you can put your fist through a hole here, right over yonder. I put the expanding foam on, then I just cut it off a little bit and then painted it a minute ago. I ran out of caulk, so I had to go get some more today. This is clear. It ain't quite as bad, but when it dries, it'll probably get painted black too. Got a whole lot of holes on the driver's side too. That floor's in pretty bad shape. Also, I went ahead and fixed the door, the hood latch last night. Y'all watch this right here. Let me pop that hood. Oh yeah. Ta-da! All I did is what I said I was gonna do. I just cut the threads off and then welded a 1/2-inch bolt onto it. Cut the head of the bolt off, and then this nut welds onto this. That's why it fell off, because I don't even know where that piece is now, but it was just like spot welded on. Here it is. See that one shiny spot? It was spot welded on. That's the only thing I was holding it on. Anyways, got that fixed. Watch her shut now. Ta-da! I said I was going to do the windshield today. I think we're going to hold off on that. Here's why. I don't know that I'm going to need help, so I don't want to start it until I know I can get help, because, you know, we're fixing to drive this thing here a little bit down the road. What I'm going to do right now, we're going to back this car right out yonder, give her a good bath, and we're going to give her a little shine. Oh, yeah. Well, MLS, well, it struck again. Yep. It started up as soon as I hit the key. Ran for about 3 seconds, and it just slowly died. Well, got fuel all right there. Got fuel all in here. Got fuel all over the outside of the carb. You ain't got a clue what's going on. Surely don't. MLS, hello, glad to see ya. Well, as you can see right here, gas is just shooting out the vent tube, and that other little vent right there by the accelerator pump float, it's hung wide open. I have no clue why, but it is. If I had another carb, that one I'd take it off. I'd throw it out there in that wheat field. I sure wouldn't forget about it. Let me pull the top off and see what's going on. Well, here's the float out of that carb. I don't know if y'all be able to hear it or not, but listen. Yep, it's about half full of gas. Let me pull one of these carbs off the shelf over here, and hopefully it's got the same float. We'll change them out. Got it back together. I have no clue if the float level is set right or not, but I guess we'll find out. Here is the float that has lots of gas in it. I kept shaking it, hoping some gas would come out. Couldn't get it to come out nowhere. Well, then I started squeezing it, and it's coming out from several locations. Well, you can see right there now. It's just wet. This is, you know, shiny. That other one was, what are you going to call it? Patinaed, if you will. This is probably a newer one. Probably from China. Pile of garbage. It's going to go in the garbage. I ain't fixing it. I'll buy a new float if I need one. I'm not going to start it up right now because, well, you should see the amount of gas on the floor. It was puddled all over the intake. And, well, when I turned it over to show you all the gas shooting out of the carb, well, it hydraulicked that first go-round. Yep, sure did. So I'm going to pull the plugs. We're going to turn it over, get that blown out. Then I'm going to go to town and get a filter. We're going to do an oil change because I have no clue how much gas is in that oil. I ain't running it like that. Yep, so let me do all that and get back with the filter with the oil change. Then we'll back her out here and wash her and maybe get her to shine a little bit. Got the Earl drained. It looked okay. It didn't really smell all that gassy. Probably would have been okay, but I was going to change the Earl anyway before we went on power tour, so I reckon we're just getting to it a little bit early. We'll see if the old thing will fire up now. Get out here and wash it, and then I'm going to pull it back in and show you what we're going to do to make her shine a little bit. Well, she's been hand washed for the first time in many years. Them old wheels are shining too. Goodness gracious. They're almost too pretty for this car. Sure is. I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit. Might get the leaf blower out and dry it off a little bit, and then we'll get it in the shop and we'll see if we can't make her shine. You know, I told you I ain't really a fan of shiny rust, but when this car was wet, I'll have to admit it didn't look bad. Sure didn't. Anyways, let's dry her off and then we'll see what we can do with it. Well, I blew it off at about 50, 55 miles an hour. Yes, sir, took it for a drive. I figured I gotta wait on it to dry and we need to break in the rear gears. Let's just kill two birds with one stone. So I drove it about 13 miles, let it cool off for 30 minutes. Drove it about 16, 17 miles, let it cool off. And here we are. I'm probably gonna do that at least once more. May do it tonight if this stuff dries pretty quick, or we may just do it tomorrow. Anyways, let me show you what we're gonna do to shine it. Yes, this is floor polish, Zep high traffic floor polish. Here's why I'm using this. One, very cheap, $25 for a gallon, and there's no telling how many coats that would put on this car. Two, it will wear off eventually. I've told y'all that I'm not that crazy about shiny rust, but so you know, a girl out there wet and shiny, it didn't look too bad, no sir. Here is why I'm not going to use any kind of wipe on clear, mainly because everybody says it streaks real bad. You have to spray it. I'm not spraying anything on this car. I don't have time and I don't want to right now. So this is the easiest thing I know to do, cheapest thing I know to do. I got on the old YouTubes and there's several people that's tried it, and it'll give it a matte finish. They had, oh, what was it called? Wet Look. Yep, that's what it was called. I almost got it. I thought, no, let's just use this. We might get that Wet Look and try it sometime if this does okay. But I'm not sure. It still looks dirty. I'm not sure if I need to scuff it up or not, but I'm not going to because I just don't have time. I got a ton of work still to do. Dude, we ain't really done with this. It's good enough for now. Anyways, let me shut up because I got to get this done. I'm gonna test it out back here on the trunk. We'll see what it looks like, and if I like it, we'll continue. If not, well, we ain't gonna do it. So let me just do a little spot right down here somewhere, and I want it to dry. I think they say it dries in like 30 minutes. We'll let it dry, see what it looks like. If it looks good, we'll do the whole car. All I'm gonna do, get my rag wet, wring it out a little bit, and then I'm just gonna wipe it on, just see what it does. May have to do more than one coat, I don't know. I've never done this before. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. Ooh, it's sticky on my hands already. I don't think it's gonna take long to dry. Let's let that dry, see what it looks like. If I like it, we'll do the whole car. Well, whoever said it took 30 minutes to dry, well, they're a liar. It took about 2 minutes. It's just as dry as it can be. You can see a difference. It is a matte finish. To be honest with you, I sort of think I want to shine now. I really do. I'm not above changing my mind about stuff. Like I said, when I saw that thing wet outside, after we washed it, she sure looked good. Tell you what, let me do 2 more coats and see what this looks like. If it don't get no shinier, tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna probably go back to Lowe's real quickly and get that Wet Look stuff. Let's just see what it does. Well, there's the second coat. It might be a little shinier. I can start to see my reflection a little bit. Let me do 1 more coat. If it don't do no better, I'm gonna head to Lowe's and get that Wet Look stuff. We'll try it. Well, there's the third coat, and I can see my reflection even better this time. It's still got a matte look to it, in the direct sunlight. I did a little reading the difference between the high traffic and the Wet Look. Well, they say the Wet Look is shinier, glossier, but they claim you can get the same thing out of the high traffic stuff. You just have to put, a couple more coats on. I'll spend an hour or more going to town to get the Wet Look, or I can stay here and use what I got and spend that hour, putting 3 coats, 4 coats on it. I think we'll just stay here and we will try the Wet Look on Dude. See what it looks like on him. Yep, that's what we'll do. Anyways, let me get this spread off this car. And, well, you ain't going to see it till I'm done. So, probably see y'all tomorrow. There the old girl is. She don't look too bad. Yes, sir. That is 2 coats of the Zep floor polish. I said I was going to do 3 or 4. Well, I lied. I may do a couple more before power tour, but I'm okay with this right here. It's got a decent little shine to it. It may be a streak or 2, but I mean, you know, we're putting floor polish on a rust bucket, so what do you expect? It ain't bad though. I don't think it is, no sir. When I started it up a few minutes ago to back it out, carb flooded again. I'm gonna try to find a different carb, because that right there, it's just, well, it's gonna keep on giving trouble. I don't know what's wrong with it. Tired of fooling with it. So if I can find another one, we're gonna get rid of it. Anyways, let's hop in the old girl and go down the road. I'm gonna do probably a 15-minute trip. Try to break in those rear gears a little bit more. Let's see what she'll do. Hereth we go. I gotta do something about that trunk rattling. That's pretty annoying. giving me trouble. It don't want to idle about half the time. I gotta do something about that. Fellers, I'm gonna call it. After sitting over in the side yard at Mom and Daddy's for 29 years, just begging to be worked on, the old Forte is officially back on the road. Oh yeah, it's not bad to drive. Runs really good, and it ain't as rough as y'all think as far as riding. The rear suspension has been improved a lot. The only thing is we need to get rid of this rattling back here in the trunk. That's very annoying. Other than that though, it's a pleasure to drive. I'm gonna have a lot of fun driving this whole car. Don't look too bad either. It gets a little bit of attention. When I first started working on this thing, I thought it'll take 3 months, maybe 4. This is episode 32. Yes, sir. That's about 8 months, which, you know, I kept adding stuff to it that I wanted to do. But, yeah, I'm just glad to have it done. Glad some of y'all stuck around to see the whole thing. She don't look too bad. I told y'all, very first video, that this was Daddy's dream car. And, well, I had a lot I was going to tell you about him. I ain't sure I can make it through it. So the only thing I'll tell you is I wish the old man was still here. I'd pitch him the keys and say, have fun with it. I'll put up a picture of him and Mama standing in front of it right after he first got it. It was a pretty sharp old car. The outside anyway, it's never had any interior. Yeah, the paint, it was pretty sharp back in this day. I'll leave y'all with this. I think I told you this in the first video too. If you got a project, it ain't got to be a car. If you got a project you want to work on with kids, husband, wife, grandparents, and it don't matter, brother, sister, get out there and do it. Don't put it off. I'm telling you, when they're gone, all you got's memories. That's what this is about, is making memories. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with friends. And until next time, go do something.